What I'm about to tell you will completely change how you watch Family Guy forever. You think it's just a random cartoon about a talking baby and a drunk dad in Rhode Island, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. What if I told you that hidden inside those crude jokes and cutaway gags, Family Guy has been predicting our future for over 2 decades? And no, this isn't some conspiracy theory cooked up in someone's basement. This is real, documented, and honestly kind of creepy when you start connecting the dots. We're talking about specific episodes that called out events years before they happened. Gender identity revelations, presidential elections, technology that didn't even exist yet, all casually dropped into episodes like it was no big deal. The writers either had a crystal ball, a time machine, or they understood human society so well that they could see where we were heading before we got there. By the end of this video, you'll see Family Guy in a completely different light. You'll wonder if Seth MacFarlane is secretly from the future, and you might just go back and rewatch every single episode looking for what else they got right. So buckle up because this rabbit hole goes deep.
Wow. You know, when you see it up close, it really is incredible.
Yeah, holy crap, it's beautiful.
Before we dive into the weird prophecies, let's get everyone on the same page. Family Guy first aired in 1999 and follows the Griffin family in the fictional town of Quahog, Rhode Island. You've got Peter Griffin, the overweight, well-meaning but often clueless dad who works at a toy factory. His wife Lois comes from a wealthy family but chose a regular life. Their kids include Meg, the punching bag of the family, Chris, not the sharpest tool in the shed, and Stewie, an evil genius baby who wants to take over the world and has a suspiciously advanced vocabulary. Oh, and there's Brian, the family dog who talks, drinks martinis, and thinks he's an intellectual. The show is famous for its random cutaway gags, those moments where someone says, "This is worse than that time and then we see a completely unrelated flashback scene. These cutaways are where a lot of the predictions hide. The show was actually canceled twice, but came back because fans loved it so much. Now it's one of the longest-running animated series ever, with over 400 episodes. Family Guy doesn't shy away from controversial topics: politics, religion, celebrities, social issues. Nothing is off limits, and that willingness to poke fun at everything is exactly what allowed them to stumble into predicting the future. When you make jokes about everything, eventually some of those jokes become reality. Now that we're all caught up, let's get into the freaky stuff.
Take care, buddy.
Woo! Yeah! Fresh air! Freedom!
Family Guy has never been shy about making fun of politicians, but several episodes featured jokes about unlikely people ending up in positions of power, and some of those jokes became, well, less funny and more documentary-like. The show made multiple references to Donald Trump over the years, often joking about his ego and business dealings. But in a few episodes, they actually referenced him in political contexts that seemed absurd at the time. The idea of Trump as president was treated as a punchline, something so ridiculous it could only exist in Family Guy's twisted universe. Then 2016 happened. Donald Trump actually won the presidential election, defeating Hillary Clinton. Suddenly, those old Family Guy jokes weren't jokes anymore. They were predictions. It's like the writers were trying to warn us, but we were all too busy laughing to listen. The show also made jokes about other political figures achieving unexpected power or influence. These weren't detailed prophecies with dates and specific events, but rather a pattern of recognizing that American politics was getting weird enough that almost anything could happen. What Family Guy understood before many political analysts did was that celebrity culture and politics were merging. The line between entertainer and politician was blurring. In a world where reality TV stars could become cultural icons, why couldn't one become president? Family Guy saw that trend coming and made jokes about it, while everyone else still thought politics was serious business conducted by serious people.
You are cash poor.
Long before everyone was complaining about kids these days and their phones, Family Guy was making jokes about people being completely absorbed by small screens. Multiple episodes throughout the 2000s and early 2010s featured cutaway gags showing people ignoring the real world while staring at tiny devices, getting constant notifications, and being unable to disconnect. At the time these episodes aired, smartphones were just becoming mainstream. The iPhone launched in 2007. Social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter were growing but hadn't yet consumed our entire lives. Instagram didn't even exist until 2010. But Family Guy was already making fun of a future where people would be completely enslaved to their devices. Episodes showed characters walking into things because they were texting, ignoring their families at dinner to check notifications, and having their entire emotional states controlled by what appeared on their screens. Fast forward to today. Studies show that the average person checks their phone 96 times per day. Social media addiction is a recognized psychological condition. There are apps designed to limit your phone use because we can't control ourselves. Restaurants have baskets at tables where families are supposed to put their phones during meals. We've literally had to create interventions to deal with exactly what Family Guy was joking about 15 years ago.
Why can't I post this video? Hello? What did you say? Why aren't you looking at your phone, you psycho?
Remember when celebrities just did commercials for normal products? Pepperidge Farm remembers. And so does Family Guy. The show made repeated jokes about absurd celebrity product tie-ins long before we lived in a world where every influencer has their own makeup line, energy drink, or mysterious supplement brand. Episodes featured cutaway gags imagining ridiculous branded products that seem too stupid to ever exist in real life. We have YouTubers launching multi-million-dollar makeup empires. We have TikTokers selling courses on how to become TikTokers. We have influencers hawking diet teas, meal replacement shakes, and cryptocurrency schemes to their millions of followers. Family Guy saw this coming. The episodes that joked about celebrities slapping their names on random products weren't just making fun of existing endorsement deals. They were predicting a future where everyone with a social media following would become a brand, selling anything and everything to their audience. The show understood something fundamental about modern capitalism. If you have attention, you can monetize it. And if you can monetize attention, people will sell absolutely anything. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if it's good. If people know your name and will buy it, someone will manufacture it and you'll put your face on it.
Bring back the bridge! Bring back the bridge! Bring back the bridge!
After 9/11, airport security changed dramatically. Family Guy, being Family Guy, immediately started making jokes about the new security procedures. But they didn't just mock what existed. Their jokes kept escalating, showing increasingly absurd security measures that invaded privacy and made travel miserable. Multiple episodes featured cutaway gags about over-the-top airport security, excessive pat-downs, ridiculous screening procedures, security agents with too much power, and the general sense that privacy was dead and we should just get used to it. Many viewers at the time thought these jokes were exaggerations. Surely airports wouldn't get that invasive, right? Surely there would be a limit to the security theater. Nope. Full-body scanners became standard. The TSA expanded their procedures to include taking off shoes, removing laptops, limiting liquids to tiny bottles, and random enhanced screenings that feel deeply uncomfortable. Pre-check and clear emerged as paid services to skip some security, literally paying money to be treated slightly more like a human being. And it's not just airports. Surveillance technology exploded. Facial recognition cameras appeared everywhere. Your phone tracks your location constantly. Ring doorbells create neighborhood surveillance networks. We live in a world where being watched is just the default setting. Family Guy's jokes about security procedures becoming increasingly invasive and normalized weren't really jokes. They were warnings wrapped in humor. The show understood that once you give up a little freedom for security, the ratchet only turns one way. Procedures never get less invasive, they only expand.
Let's play on the sunny beach of Peppermint Bay.
Multiple episodes featured elaborate jokes about automated customer service systems, voice recognition software that doesn't work, and AI systems that completely misunderstand what humans are asking for. Characters would be stuck in endless phone trees, screaming at robots that couldn't help them, and generally losing their minds trying to accomplish simple tasks through automated systems. When these episodes first aired in the mid-2000s, automated phone systems existed but weren't universal. most companies still had relatively easy access to human customer service representatives. AI chatbots were primitive. Voice recognition was terrible, but also not everywhere. Now, good luck finding a human. Every company has multiple layers of AI customer service you have to fight through. Chatbots pop up on every website, usually providing useless scripted responses. Voice systems ask you to describe your problem in natural language, then completely misunderstand and route you to the wrong department anyway. The frustration Family Guy joked about is now a daily reality for millions of people. We've all spent 30 minutes navigating phone menus, yelling "representative" at our phones, only to get disconnected right before reaching a human. We've all had chatbots give us links to FAQ pages that don't answer our questions. We've all experienced the special hell of AI customer service that saves companies money while driving customers insane. In numerous episodes, Family Guy made jokes about the future of television, exclusive content, and people's viewing habits changing dramatically. Characters would reference binge-watching, on-demand content, and the fragmentation of media in ways that seemed like science fiction when cable TV was still king. When Family Guy started in 1999, you watched shows when they aired, or you missed them. Maybe you recorded them on VHS, later on DVR, but television was still appointment viewing. Networks controlled when you watched their content. The idea that you'd have unlimited access to entire series at once seemed crazy. Then Netflix changed everything. Streaming platforms exploded. Binge-watching became a normal term. Networks launched their own streaming services, fragmenting content across dozens of platforms. Shows started dropping entire seasons at once instead of weekly episodes. The way we consume television completely transformed. Family Guy episodes that joked about people watching entire seasons in one sitting, or exclusive content being held hostage by specific services, suddenly weren't jokes. They were accurate descriptions of reality. We now live in a world where you need subscriptions to Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Max, Paramount+, Apple TV+, Peacock, and 17 other services just to watch everything you want. The show saw the writing on the wall. Once technology allowed on-demand viewing, people would abandon traditional TV schedules. And once there was money in exclusive streaming content, companies would splinter the market into a million pieces, each trying to capture subscription dollars.
I get all the channels on this thing. Lifetime, CBS.
So what's really going on here? Is Seth MacFarlane actually a time traveler? Did the writers make a deal with some future-predicting demon? Probably not. Here's the truth. Family Guy's predictions weren't magic. They were the result of smart writers paying attention to trends, understanding human nature, and taking those observations to their logical or illogical conclusions. When you make jokes about everything and push every trend to its most absurd extreme, sometimes reality catches up to your satire. The show has produced over 400 episodes across more than 2 decades. With that many jokes about that many topics, some are bound to come true just by sheer probability. But there's more to it than luck. The writers understood that society tends to move in certain directions toward more technology, more convenience, more celebrity worship, more surveillance, more commercialization of everything. They took those trends and cranked them up to ridiculous levels for comedy. The fact that reality eventually matched or even exceeded their satire says more about us than about Family Guy's prophetic powers. Every prediction we've covered today is really just the writers being cynical enough about human nature and societal trends that their jokes became blueprints. They saw where we were headed because they paid attention to where we were going. So the next time you watch Family Guy and see a ridiculous joke about the future, maybe don't laugh too hard. Because if the past 20 years have taught us anything, that joke might just be tomorrow's reality. The real question isn't whether Family Guy predicted the future, it's what jokes they're making right now that we should actually be worried about.